everyone. Happy Saturday or early Sunday if it's Sunday for you already.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, good time zone to you all. So is everyone well rested after after the Connect-a-thon from last weekend? No.
No, I still don't get my rest.
That's too bad. That's too bad. Yes.
Yeah, but it was fun.
It was fun. Yeah. How many did you end up doing?
Oh, you will love this. I did 77.
That's excellent. Oh, I love it. That is great. That's good. I did an even 30, and that was all I was able to get done.
30. Okay, that's good. Yeah.
You know what? I thought I had a whole weekend to myself. With just, I knew I had to go to play for math, so I knew there was a couple times I'd be gone. But then as it turned out, fate conspired against me, and there was lots of other things that were popping up. So.
And hosting, you were hosting a lot.
Yes, well, I was hosting a lot, so that's true too. Yeah.
What about you, Denise?
I can't even tell you how many I got. I didn't look. I don't think I got more than 5.
Oh, we'll have a look on that.
Yeah. Well, unusual for me, but this was a terrible weekend.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, sometimes it's just like that.
Yeah. Well, hello to everyone who's here in the chat, and those who are watching after the fact as well, of course. We have Judy and Anne and Tia is here. Dee, let's see, Rick. Rick, I think he won one of the prizes at one point. Rick from Ontario. And let's see. Okay, so they're talking amongst themselves before it starts. Oh, just scroll. If I scroll too fast, then I can't read the names as they go flip by. There's Chris Ferriolo jumping into the conversation, stirring things up. Murray Maloney, how you doing, Murray? Susie Carda is here as well, and Amanda, how you doing, Amanda? Melissa from Augusta. John Tyner from Ireland. Melissa, I said Margaret. Azure's here. Hello, Azure.
Hi, Azure.
Yeah, Vince. Vince Rinley. Hello from Indianapolis. Good to have you, Vince. Ozzy Melanie is here. Tim Tams. She's already starting with the Tim Tams. There we go. Kathy Luck. How are you doing, Kathy? And there's Tommy Buck. Good morning.
And your neighbor, Murray. Did you say hi to him? Yes, I'm in Betsy's living room because when Betsy goes away, I stay at her home.
You're squatting, are you?
Yeah. Yeah, but I water the plants.
You water the plants. That's good. You polish the grand piano in the background there.
Yes, have to. So many dust.
You have to dust it, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Oh, well, why don't you start us off, Vicky?
Yes, I have so many interesting things. Very good content.
Good.
Yes.
I like
Let me. Since we had no LiveCast. No roundup last week. So we had 2 members of the week.
Ooh.
And sadly, a member of last week was Stephanie Coulter, but she couldn't be with us. I invited her, but she was busy this weekend. And Stephanie is very active in the Canada project.
Excellent.
It's so sad, Greg. Last week we had Canadian connections, and we missed that.
Aww.
But
maybe she can come
another week. Yeah, that's why Stephanie was the member of the week, and she became a wiki genealogist in July 2023. And she got started in genealogy when she started researching her ancestors who settled in Ottawa. How do you?
Ottawa.
Sorry, Ottawa.
Yeah.
Okay, and she says she learned that one of her ancestors had been a Minuteman in the American Revolution. Okay. What is a Minuteman? I always ask these questions live instead of researching that before.
Right. Well, I think it's a militia person, like with he'd be running around with a gun.
Okay.
I'm not sure where the term Minuteman comes from. Does it take a minute to load the rifle, maybe? Yeah.
Up and ready to go in a minute? I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
maybe.
But
Maybe
why they're called Minutemen is a good question. But it is some type of infantry, yeah. People with guns.
Well, and she was having this research together along with her mother. So it's a special thing.
Nice.
Yes, and well, I'll be brief, but there. She says 2 years ago she started using WikiTree, and she had come across certain profiles in my various searches, she says, some of which were quite detailed and were researched. Well, that's a WikiTree's job, right? And she says, what really hooked me was the way the site can show connections to anyone in the big tree. It motivated me to start connecting my branches here. And this is a weekend where I found a lot of tools, a lot of things that show us the power of WikiTree. And that's what I want to highlight this weekend. Well, she talks about these connections that you can easily see between WikiTreeers and other profiles. And she likes to write and format biographies, which is something we all would like to do, right? Because it's not so fun sometimes. But we have some good people that likes to give good biographies. And she says so many other family tree websites can lead people down the wrong path and replicate mistakes. I like that WikiTree is open and public, so we're always checking each other's work and having conversations about it. That's so fun about WikiTree. So yeah, I love this interview because it highlights the power of WikiTreeers, not only WikiTree, but our community. So this is a nice interview. You go and read it. And this, and she says, any tips? Yeah, I think a good way to start is to join one of the challenges like the Connectathon that we had last weekend. So she says it's fun and there's a lot of activity leading up to, during it too. So it's a good way to start chatting with others. Totally right. And then this week, the member of the week is Jill Ball.
Oh, nice.
Jill Ball. She is an amateur genealogist. She was born in South Wales, I guess. I saw that. New South Wales, Australia.
New South Wales in Australia, yeah.
Yes. And she got interested in genealogy reading Alex Haley's book, Roots.
Roots, yes.
Yes. And she was motivated when her grandmother died. And she says in 1988, when the bicentenary of the British colonization in Australia was a time to reflect about our past, she says. And she's a blogger. She even has represented Australia in Rootstech as a blogger. So in Rootstech, she saw the WikiTree stand, and she said, well, what are these guys about? And she got interested on WikiTree. And she joined in 2017 when she saw the volunteers in Rootstech. And what else I wanted to say? Well, I'll go to the tips. Any tips? Join a team or participate in some collaborative challenges. We have challenges. We have the Connectathon. And this is really powerful for me because I want to tell you something. I'm not going to be here next week. I will have yes, I won't because I'm going to be traveling. And I'll go to, well, my main destination is Wales, where our friend Hilary is. And I'm going to give a lecture about WikiTree and collaborative genealogy.
No way! That's excellent.
Yeah, that's excellent. So this gives me a lot to talk about. So
That's
it's really
fantastic.
an inspiration. Yes.
Nice.
And Jill says, what could we do to inspire more people to participate in our mission? Focus more on the worth of WikiTree as a safe haven for future generations to access ancestral stories. Future-proofing our work for future generations. I love that phrase.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yes.
Very good.
Yeah. So, yes. So Wales, yes. And I'm going to Ireland. I already talked about this with Patty.
Yes.
To research some of my brick wall, my big favorite brick wall. So I hope I find something there. And talking about the United Kingdom, let's see your profile makeovers. This was so fun. This month. I invited you to make over and give dashes of love to profiles related somehow, anyhow,
Yes.
with the Beatles.
Very cool.
And I have some great profiles. This makeover was made by Hillary Gatsby,
Nice.
our friend from Wales. And well, she did this. This is the before picture. Do you see it?
Yeah. It's
a very short biography for George Buckle. Why George Buckle? Because of George Harrison.
George Harrison, yes.
They
first name George. There we go.
Share the first name. So she made this amazing profile.
Ah, nice.
George William Buckle. Now he has a proper biography with stickers. He was born in Southampton, Hampshire, England. And it's a part of the Buckle name study. And I like these little snippets about this biography. He was born in 1892. And he was the son of George and Elizabeth Buckle. And in the 1911 census, George, being 18, was assisting his parents in their greengrocery business. Then, when he was about 28, he married Elizabeth Lilly. And then when he was 30, he was a fruiterer and working partner of his mother and brother, because the father had passed away. So now the business was in charge of the mother and the siblings. And then when she was 47, he was a wholesale retailer. And the role was changing over the years.
Right. Right. So from greengrocer to fruiterer. So does that mean there was someone who was a vegetabeler on the other side?
Yeah, sure.
Then he combined it to be wholesale. So he's doing all the food, the whole food.
Some just do fruits.
Some just do fruits. There must be a vegetabeler on the other side of the aisle.
Yeah, but after all that career, he was a retailer. I mean, that sounds huge. And I like how thorough is the research that Hillary made.
Nice.
And because she says somewhere it says although the addresses, she puts research notes, very important. Although the addresses have been recorded differently in the census, they are in fact the same building. That's we always say we don't want to replicate, we don't want to be researching all over again things that someone else already did. So please put some research notes. And she put links containing photographs of the area as it is now.
Ah, nice.
And she says that his grandfather, the grandfather of George Buckle, was christened in the church in St. Michael's Square, which has a long story. Well, we have sources, and guess what? See also, and there we have links to St. Michael's Square.
Very nice.
And this is St. Michael's Square, in case you're wondering.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful square, right?
Mm-hmm.
And here we have some more pictures. If you guys were guessing why it is so important, this church, you can go ahead and read this.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful, beautiful work.
Very nice.
And I wonder why Hillary proposed this profile for a makeover.
Mm-hmm.
How could I know if she's related to this person? And she's the profile manager. So you just have to click here, ta-da, and you view the connection. Yeah, it's so powerful. WikiTree. So she's 5 degrees away. And sometimes it's hard for me, I don't know about you, but it's hard for me to read this. You know, it's Peter is her father, Albert, his father, then his father, but then George is his brother, and it's his son. So it's easier for me to see it like this, the generational path.
Yes, I like that path. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, so now we can clearly see that Peter is Hillary's father, then Albert is her grandfather, and that George is the cousin of her grandfather.
First cousin. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, nice. Amazing. So we're not only seeing a great makeover, and we're also seeing the power of WikiTree and how you can really do a great profile with our tools. You know, put links, you can put pictures, you can put research notes. It makes it so much so rich, a rich research.
Yeah, indeed.
And then finally, because I've come in couples today, I have this last makeover, and I wanted to start because we don't have a before picture, but this is another feature of WikiTree. You can see the changes, the log, the backlog of the changes that have been made to a profile with every detail and the date that it was done. And this is the makeover, Charles Albert Brown. How is this related to the Beatles? Well, if you're a Beatles fan, and if you're not, there's a song by the Beatles called A Day in the Life.
Right.
And it's like the final sentence that says, now they know how many holes it takes to fill the Albert Hole. So
Albert Hall. Wow.
Okay.
That's a deep cut.
Yes. Only for Beatles fans.
Wow.
Lin Young chose this profile of Charles Albert Brown. And that's why
I was going to say, I thought the link was that Charles Schultz was a Beatles fan, and so Charlie Brown was.
That would be a really good
stretch. That's really stretching it, isn't it? Yeah.
But yeah, it would have been perfect.
Yeah.
No, but yes.
Sorry, go on.
Albert
I interrupted.
No, please do whenever you want. And I wanted to start from the change history because I'm showing you all our power. Because since we had no before picture, I wanted to see what changes made Lynn on this profile. And you know, she has been working on this profile like for a year. She created this profile a long time ago, but look at all these images that she has added. I won't show you everything, but she's been working really hard on this one from April. And she has 74 images on this profile.
Wow.
Well, but what did she do in July? And I hope, Lynn, please, I hope you don't mind that I'm showing this. I don't want to make fun of it, but I would like to think that you left some notes for me to read because you knew I was going to look here. So, well, these are the changes that Lynn made in July. And she puts all these details about what she does. She removed the sticker, links, and categories, chose language. She's really a detailed person. Very
I love this. Editor change.
And here it
still
comes.
Working on it, and again, still not right. Oh, I love it. I do that too.
Decisions. Still working out the spacing. And what do we think now? I think I'm finally happy with it. And well, there you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cute.
So.
Oh, I love it.
Now, yeah, I loved
that
it too.
That is great.
It really made me laugh. So really, thank you, Lynn, for
what do we think
this.
About it?
We're not laughing about you. We're laughing with you.
No, we're laughing with you. Yes.
So this is the profile of Charles Albert Brown. 74 photos, images of documents and sources. And I really think, I really love what Lynn is doing because I've seen some evolution. And she did this table of contents with quick facts. The first thing: born in Maine, moved to Minnesota, farmer, wife, children. This is a good thing to, yeah. I really liked it. The biography, sources, research notes, and the C also a section that should be in the research notes. I'm not going to read the details of the biography, but you can see it's wonderful. It looks great. You see everything is linked.
Wow.
There are links to the cities. It's really a lot of work. You can see that she's been working a lot on this profile. And when she uses to do this contextual research, she talks about the American Civil War, the next year, Dakota War. So she gives us the whole context of the life of this person. And finally, she did a free space page for the sources because there are too many. Imagine.
Yeah.
These are the sources. A special space page for that.
Interesting.
So these are all things that you can do on WikiTree. Only on WikiTree. There are research notes, proper research note. See also should not be a section.
I don't think so. I think it should be in the sources. Yeah.
In the search. In the sources. Yes. But this is looking great. I can tell anything wrong about this. And she added this for historical context. These famous people lived at roughly the same times. She added this contemporary people.
Context, yeah.
Contemporary, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's great because we usually lose the meaning of somebody's life, and we just feel data and dates and locations, but we don't understand that these people were living at the same time of others.
Yeah, so, that's neat. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a great a great biography and a great makeover.
Yeah, I think the position, the ordering sources should go at the end, even if it's a link to a free space page. But other than that,
but those are little
minor things. Yeah.
Yeah, but the title, the heading is there. Sources.
Yeah, it's there, so you can find it. So you're right.
Yes, and yes, because sometimes it's so long that the research notes would have been so low in the, maybe you would have missed them.
Well,
so
that's why you put it.
This was a it had
nice work there. Lots of work.
Nice work, innovative. So I don't know if that's a word, innovative.
Very cool.
So these are my my makeovers. Great work. And well, the next weekend will already be August.
Oh yeah.
So, but it will be the 2nd of August, I guess. So probably we will have no makeovers for next weekend. So well, no, not we, but my, but Sandy will fill in for me, and she will show you two makeovers about the Beatles theme.
Okay.
The last two. And I have to connect. Sorry.
Do you have a theme?
And we have a theme. Yeah, I have a theme that will be especially thinking about Sandy, because she will be showing those makeovers, and the theme will be memories, because she loves memories. That feature on WikiTree where you can leave your memories about a person, your personal thoughts. That's where you talk in first person and you say, my grandmother and I, we used to. That's where you really put the meat.
Yeah.
That's so I saved that for Sandy. She will love showing you those makeovers. So choose any profile you want, but be sure to put your memories there. So it must be someone you know,
right,
or someone you know knew.
Right.
Yeah. So that will be the theme for August.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yes.
Awesome.
Well, Denise, was there any questions this week? Any answers?
Certainly. And the question this week was one of my favorites. Let me share here. Cooking. And it's,
yay.
What are your favorite recipes? And I actually took that idea and posted it to my family Facebook pages. Yeah, because I want to know. What are some of the other favorite family recipes? And I'm trying to share here, but
okay.
Oh, and did you get any recipes back? I mean, because you can say I like this dish, but the recipe?
Probably not yet. But
the thing with the recipes or family recipes, I don't know if you ever did that with your mom, but when I say, Mom, please show me the recipe of this, she says, I only cook by how do you say?
Feel.
By memory.
Yeah.
By memory. Right. It's just what she feels at the time, so I don't have recipes.
Yeah. It's never written down. Never written down. But
exactly.
There's a lot of good family recipes listed here. One of the things I would suggest, though, for folks, because there's a lot of people that responded, we got 16 answers, but no pictures.
Oh,
I'm not a very good cook. I like to compare what I have to what you say I'm supposed to have. So that makes a big difference to me, but there's a lot of good recipes here.
Okay. Can you zoom in a couple?
There we have something.
Oh,
yeah.
There we go.
We've got one here. And forgive me if I don't name these correctly, because sometimes I just, I'm still having problems here. Trying to navigate on my page. Well, the picture is most important. But this was submitted by, I don't know why my mouse is acting funny. This was submitted by M. Ross.
Okay.
And it's a family favorite. And it's turnip casserole.
Turnip?
Yeah. And she says, actually, it's a rutabaga.
Okay. Yes.
Neither of which I've ever had in a casserole. So this
I have no idea what they are.
Actually, well, it's a vegetable.
Oh,
It's big and round and very hard.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, they're kind of like Brussels sprouts or cabbages or something along that line.
Oh, okay.
But I've never had, I've had turnips in greens, but I've never had a rutabaga. So this was an interesting, and I may, when it gets colder, I may even try this one. But I'm sure it's not going to look like the picture. But great recipe, and she spells it out. Peel the rutabaga, cut it into pieces, boil it until it's tender. Mix together with 3 cups of mashed rutabaga. Basically, it's just 1 rutabaga, 2 teaspoons or tablespoons of margarine, 2 eggs, and then beat it up. Mix the turnip, butter, and eggs together. Beat them well. Then mix in some flour, brown sugar, and see, that's the part I like because there's sugar.
The brown sugar.
The brown sugar. That's important for me.
Yeah, because they're sort of like a squash, but they really are a root vegetable. So if you think of what what a parsnip is, right?
Yes.
So think of a parsnip. Oh, you don't even know what a parsnip?
No, I'm just nodding.
Okay. It's sort of like the texture is sort of like a parsnip, except think instead of along like a carrot shape, it's more round like a squash. But there's, unlike a squash or a pumpkin where there's a hollow inside, it's solid. So it's really hard to to chop it up. It's a very tough thing. So you'd have to cook it for a long time before you could get it soft enough to mash.
Yeah,
I thought so.
And it doesn't mash like a potato, as you can tell by the picture.
No.
So it's coarser than a potato, but it's another one of those ground vegetables, something you pull out of the ground. But it looks delicious, and knowing it's got brown sugar in it. The brown
sugar that would sell it, or at least I would attempt to try it. With the brown sugar. Without the brown sugar, I don't know.
Yeah. So that's the key for me. But anyone that's interested in that recipe, it's right there. Feel free to access it and print it off. It's right there in the G2G. Now these others, they've got some good ones. Like Deborah says, my parents had 4 kids with huge appetites, and they had both grown up in the 30s during and after the Great Depression. So yeah, that does impact how you cook your food and what kind of foods you cook on a regular basis. Anything meat, chicken, pork related that was a leftover, my mother would freeze. Once she had enough, she would thaw, shred the meats, and mix it all together, put it on a double boiler. She uses a crock pot in today's world. Add in a bottle of whatever barbecue sauce and was around. And then her mom made her own barbecue sauce with ketchup, brown sugar, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they would use that to make what we know as sloppy joes. So I thought that was pretty interesting because I never thought of a sloppy joe being other than ground hamburger, ground beef. But it looks like her mom made it with any meat, chicken, pork, whatever was left over. And of course, that was during the Depression. So you made things stretch.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And in these times, we should probably be making things stretch as well.
That's right.
So I thought that was a good recipe.
Cool. Do you know what beets are?
Do I? Yes.
Beets, yeah, of course.
Okay, so turnips they're bigger than beets, but they're sort of similar, but they're not purple.
Okay, but the texture,
the texture, like it's hard like that. Yeah.
They need to be boiled a long time.
And turnips and rutabagas are easy to grow, and they're quite prolific. And because they're filling, I think they were used a lot in the Depression in this area, anyways.
Yeah.
Because they're cheap.
Yeah. I'm skipping down to one that PJ Evans sent because I see the word cake or pie and it always catches my eye. and this is a lemon cake pie. So, yeah. Yep. 1 cup of sugar, half cup of flour, an 1/8 teaspoon of salt, 3 tablespoons of butter, 2 lemons, rind and juice. Wow. So you're using the whole lemons on this one. 2 eggs separated and a cup of milk. Sift them together, sugar, flour, and salt. Add the melted butter, juice, and grated rind. Beat the egg yolks, milk, and egg whites, and then beat them stiff. Pour into a pastry-lined plate and bake in a slow oven, 300 degrees Fahrenheit. So again, it was sugar. When I saw cake, that just, caught my eye. And right below that was some chocolate Krispies. No pictures though, folks. Come on.
I know.
Yeah, this is totally different.
We're gonna be drooling here.
Yes, make my mouth water. Now this one,
there's some pictures.
Yeah, here's his shoe peg corn dip. Now I've never heard of shoe peg corn, but apparently it's different from the regular corn. Now I'm in Ohio and I've got cornfields growing right behind me over here. But I don't know the difference between a shoe peg corn and it's actually in this can, white shoe peg corn.
That's Jolly Green Giant corn.
Yeah, I've never seen that before, so I can't wait to find out more about this shoe peg corn. But she's got all the ingredients here. Your jalapeno peppers, your onions, the sharp cheddar cheese, and of course Hellman's real mayonnaise. We're not going with the fake mayonnaise. we're doing Hellman's
no Miracle Whip.
Yeah, Miracle Whip.
I'm wondering about is that Frito-Lay?
That's your dip. Yep.
Oh,
chips.
That's what you dip. Okay.
Yeah, that's her chips of choice. Are the
I thought they were into the recipe.
Yeah. No, that's just what you dip it with. That's your favorite chip or cracker that you can dip it with.
Really, really interesting.
So that again, that recipe is there. There's one for curry, but no picture. We've got a picture of Mom's recipe.
The original recipe. I love that.
In Mom's handwriting. So this one was pretty good. It's a pudding. And again, I wish I had a picture of the actual result, but I understand you only get a week.
Yes, that's right.
Not everybody can pull these together in a week, but this one sounds pretty good. It's got the breadcrumbs, suet. I don't know what suet. Suet.
It might be suet. Is there a T? Because that be a T?
No, that looks like an L instead of a T to me. Yeah. But it's got brown sugar and raisins. I like that.
That does sound good.
Yeah. And currants and
sultanas.
I don't know what those are.
Sultanas
is another type of raisin.
It's a kind of raisin.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
And currants and
and then one, whatever that is.
Peel.
No. Peel?
I don't know.
Peel?
Maybe it's
maybe
peel.
lemon.
Maybe it's like a citrus peel, like lemon peel or
lemon peel, orange peel.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but it's got nutmeg. That's another ingredient that I like.
It's like a fruit. Oh, it is a pudding. It's like a Christmas pudding.
Yeah, it's a pudding. Yeah.
Then that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it has no flour?
Well, so Anne thinks it is suet because suet's like lard. But going back to the last recipe, she said shoe corn is like white corn. And then someone asked, is that what hominy is?
Shoe peg is white corn.
Is that what hominy is? What's hominy?
I don't know what hominy is.
Hominy is like grits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is. I think hominy is kind of like, when you're graining that corn, turning it into grain.
Okay.
Hominy are the bigger sizes.
Okay.
But
And
you
she
can tell I'm not a chef, right?
Yeah, that's right. Well, Anne thinks that it is suet in that recipe, and that's like lard, so that would give you some texture, I guess.
Okay. Thank you, Anne.
Interesting.
Yeah. And of course, Loretta says she has a WikiTree free space page.
Excellent.
Just upload to that and right click on the image to copy the image address.
Oh, she's giving instructions on how to add the pictures. Nice.
Yeah, isn't that nice?
Yeah.
That's something I didn't know how to do. We'll go over that later, but thanks, Loretta.
That would be a great cousin bait to put the free space page of the family recipes.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. Yeah, and that's a good idea of what I'm going to do with those recipes when I get them from my family members.
That's right.
That will draw them to WikiTree as well.
Yeah.
All right. A lot of discussion between Loretta and Anne. And then here's another one. My mama's meatloaf, which I still make, and hubby will hardly eat anybody else's.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, it has ketchup. Never, ever brown gravy. So, yeah, that could be one of those questions of the week. How many like meatloaf with brown gravy versus ketchup? If we're at a restaurant with meatloaf special, first question is what's on top? Gravy?
Yes.
If they say yes, order something else.
Funny.
That's
nice.
what they do. But she's got her recipe here for meatloaf. And again, no picture. But, you know,
Splash
some
of
people.
milk. That's an interesting addition.
Yeah. Yep.
Crackers. Okay. Yeah, that sounds like what my mom would have done for meatloaf. Yeah.
For meatloaf. Ketchup? You get ketchup or you get...
Yeah, ketchup. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still reading about this. Thank you, Asher. Now I know what hamini is. Yes, we call it maicena, or it's almidón de maíz. Yeah, I know exactly what it is.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just pictured the Indians grinding it on rock. And that's how I envision hominy being made.
Right.
When they're grinding it. They call it maize, but it's still all the same thing. It's corn and they're grinding it on the rock. And again, I'm not a cook, so don't go by me.
Me neither.
Don't go by me. Yeah, grew up with meat and vegetables family, most vegetables from our own garden. That's nice. My mother was an excellent cook and baker, but very good, simple home cooking. So I've never developed much of a taste for things like casseroles, etc. So this was meat and potatoes plates, it sounds like. But she's got a recipe here that comes all the way traditionally from Lunenburg County, Nova Scotia.
Canadian content.
Yeah, and it's called hot German coleslaw.
Ooh.
And of course, there's a recipe here, and we have pictures.
Yay!
Yay!
Ooh.
That's that hot German coleslaw with that sausage.
Sausage, yes.
Of course.
Yeah.
German.
That's from Rod Corkum. Thank you, Rod.
Nice.
We have a question for you, Denise.
For me?
Yes. Who cooks in your family?
I did. And now it's just me because, you know, my husband passed away. My girls are out on their own. So I'm an empty nester. So I guess I do what you call cook. My microwave gets a lot of use. It gets a lot of use.
Well, it's hard to be motivated if you're just cooking for yourself, right?
Exactly.
It's easy to make excuses. Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite holidays were Easter, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. That's when I would really cook up a storm. But now that everybody's gone, I don't have to do all that.
It's so easy just to make a peanut butter sandwich. Well, I don't know if you make peanut butter sandwiches, but if I'm alone, you know, if Julie's gone and I have to do a meal, I'll just make a peanut butter sandwich because it's just fast and easy.
Pretty much. I you know, my microwave and my Ninja. I do have a Ninja grill.
Ooh.
So I'll throw some hot dogs or some hamburgers on there every now and then. That this one, I don't know how to pronounce. I think it's Groot's.
Oh.
You've probably heard of rote Groot's, the dessert. But this is a Groot's I grew up with. It's kind of like Scrapple, but without the cornmeal. It's made of pork, liver, and barley, all ground up together.
So German.
Cloves.
Okay.
It does. Yeah, it does sound very German. Seems kind of medieval. You fry it to make it crispy and eat it for breakfast. So this was a breakfast meal.
Oh.
This recipe was passed down in my father's family from Wallau, Lahn, Kreis, Beidenkopf, Hessen, Deutschland.
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 Yeah, that's the name for Germany
Okay.
in German. Yeah.
Okay. I never took German. I took French and Spanish, the love languages.
Yes. I love language. Yes, romance. Right.
Her mom made it with a pork roast. It seems to be an acquired taste. All of the various in-laws in my family hate it. Oh, sorry to hear that.
Yes.
Despite otherwise hating liver, everyone in my family loves it.
I like it.
So, and that's what it looks like. And that's from Bonnie. Thank you, Bonnie. And she actually has the recipe here, folks.
Wow.
For those who like those German delicacies.
Yeah.
There you go. More recipes here, but again, no pictures. And these all involve sugar. You know?
Excellent.
Yeah, but I want pictures. I want pictures.
Okay.
Yeah.
So people, the bottom line is you need to add pictures to your post if you want Denise to pay attention to it.
Well, and if you're talking about recipes, I mean, come on. When you go to all those online places that have the recipes, they've got pictures of what it's supposed to look like afterwards.
Well, sometimes they annoy me because there's so many pictures. You have to scroll like 5 pages to actually get to the instructions, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The recipe already.
That's true. Yeah. And this one, this is the quintessential Mammy recipe or Mamie recipe to me. There may be others to other people, but pork chops and lima beans, blue cheese, dip spread on a celery stick, stuffed artichokes, really.
Wow.
I even have Mamie on video giving the recipe. Too bad I can't include a video file. Of course, it must be served with whiskey sauce.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. This recipe serves 2. So this is a stay at home one night with your honey and make this. But
and
it's 1 egg.
Yeah.
A heaping tablespoon of sugar, 1 cup of milk, half teaspoon of vanilla, a slice of stale French bread, crust removed if desired, and 1/4 to 1/3 cup of raisins. And of course, you're going to beat the eggs and sugar together, the milk and vanilla, and mix. Put it in a casserole dish. Put in a slice of bread and the raisins. Now, see, to me, that just sounds like
it sounds like French toast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with whiskey sauce.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
And the recipe for that whiskey sauce is a stick of butter, some powdered sugar, and bourbon.
A stick of butter for 2?
Yes.
Oh my Lord.
Yes, a stick of butter softened, 2 cups of powdered sugar, and bourbon. And notice, there is no quantity of bourbon.
No.
So it's going to add bourbon to taste.
Oh my goodness.
Yep, whatever you like.
It's a bomb.
That sounds pretty good. It sounds pretty good. And of course, no bake cookies. That seems to be a pretty popular one these days. No recipe for that, but ingredients are chocolate and oats with no bake cookies. But you can find that really on any website. And then we've got, I think, maybe one more. My family has a Christmas recipe we call Johnny Delight Pudding.
It's a neat name.
Yeah. Believe it came down through the Scottish English side of her family. Apparently, there was a young John who really liked it. Yeah, this is from Ariel Hansen. It's a traditional plum pudding with stale bread and dried fruit, among other ingredients, steamed in a mold. It is flamed by the youngest capable person in the family. Oh, make it a family affair. Which means we turn it out on a plate. Top it with a sprig of holly, pour hot brandy or Everclear, whatever that is, over it.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what Everclear is either.
I bet you it's something that bursts into flame, though.
Yeah. Turn out the room lights, and the youngest person ignites it with a match.
Okay, the youngest.
Or a barbecue lighter, yes.
The youngest, like with a barbecue lighter, one of those long-handled ones.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. As it is borne to the table, everyone sings, "We wish you a Merry Christmas." Oh, that's a nice little festive thing.
It's a whole ceremony.
Yeah.
Bring out the figgy pudding. There you go.
Yeah. With the dollop of chilled hard sauce, which is creamed butter and sugar, and pour a warm lemon sauce. It's a decadent reminder of Christmases past. And the one family recipe I know goes back at least 5 generations.
Wow.
All right.
That's very cool.
I think Johnny was the one that created the recipe.
Yeah, really.
That's why it has his name.
That's why it's Johnny's Delight Pudding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bless Johnny. God bless Johnny.
Yeah, there we go.
And then last but not least, our favorite family recipe is a banana cake. The cake and icing made from scratch. When the brother would come to visit, it's the first thing on their list of foods they want. Usually second on the list is brisket, marinated in Claude's brisket sauce. Thank you, Judy, for that.
Nice.
And she says, now I'm making myself hungry. Yeah, me too.
We are hungry. We're all hungry.
Yes.
Now I'm thinking that memories is a good place to put your own personal recipe or your best recipe. Imagine 100 of years from now, somebody is talking about the Vicky Delight.
Yeah, the Vicky's Delight. Yes, that's right.
Imagine that.
Yeah,
you're famous.
I like the space page idea because then you can search on it on WikiTree recipes. Boom.
That's true.
All the face pages with recipes would come up
with a category.
Yeah. Yep.
But I like it, especially if you have, like, if your grandmother was famous for this one recipe, putting that as a memory on her page, would be a nice tribute.
Nice.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, my grandma's biscuits. She made homemade biscuits that would make your mouth water.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. So I guess we'll go to celebrating your ancestors with a connection to July. And for the month of July, this is the end of the month, and it doesn't fit with the desserts, but the photos, the 12 months of photos for July was military, police, and firefighter.
Oh, nice.
So I'm sure, especially the firefighters, they cooked in their own when they were on duty. Somebody had the responsibility of feeding everyone else, but we don't have anything like that. But we do have a cute little picture here from John Vasky.
Oh, okay. Nice.
He says, my niece and I at one of our open houses at the firehouse. She was 2 years old in this picture. She just turned 21. Wow.
Wow. So that's him. That's John.
Yeah, that's John Vasky.
Oh.
Like 19 years ago.
Wow.
Because, she was 2 in that picture and she's 21 now.
Yeah. Wow.
He says, now I need to sit down. So that was cute. Thank you so much for your service, John.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and firefighters, I mean, this has been a terrible wildfire season.
oh, yes.
You know, everywhere, like in Canada, like they're way more than I used to remember them being. So, yeah.
Yes.
So thank you for all
Yes.
everyone who's doing that important job.
So this was a picture from Brenda Millage. She says, this is my uncle at basic training in Shiloh, Manitoba, Canada. Before heading off to Korean War in 1950. On the way, they were in a train wreck with a bunch of casualties.
Oh.
And of course, there's a link to the article about that he wrote about the crash.
Huh.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's a heck of an introduction to basic training, isn't it? Yeah. And then we've got, thank you for that, Brenda. Thank your uncle for his service. What else? This is
that's a neat one.
Yeah. I recently added my great-grandfather's uncle, a Civil War vet and a firefighter in Syracuse, New York.
Syracuse Fire Department.
Yeah. He was Philip Eckel from 1827 to 1886. Nice picture.
Wow.
I found him through this photo in a family collection with a note on the back, Philip Eckel, uncle of LPJE. So she was able to figure out those initials. And this is this was from Mark Weinheimer.
I wonder if LPJE is on WikiTree. Is there a profile for him?
No.
Sure.
There's a profile for Philip.
Yeah.
But I didn't look further to see if his uncle was there. That's a good question.
Call 386.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. Because he created a profile for the uncle. There must be the.
So this is a photo of my husband, Captain Mike Nelson, who was an Air Force pilot during the Vietnam War. In this 1967 photo, he is getting into a T-38. The next year, he was flying supplies mainly into Vietnam in a C-141. So all of you military people, you know what these are. 3 years later, he was flying a combat rescue helicopter out of Phan Rang, Vietnam.
Wow.
So I guess that's the picture of the T-38. Looking pretty dapper, ready to go.
Very much.
Wow.
Yeah.
From Alexis.
Yeah, from Alexis. Thank you. And this one is from John Thompson. Let me pull that back up so you can see.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, he's got his head chopped off.
Yeah. I didn't do that.
The Royal Navy.
Yeah. Man, come on. I need a new laptop if anyone.
What if you use your keyboard?
Your arrows keys.
Yeah.
Up and down.
Okay. Yeah, good point. I'm just using the scroll bar on the desk on the laptop, but yeah.
That's nice.
Handsome young fella.
Beautiful uniform.
Yeah. This is John Thompson's. He says, my father, William Henry Thompson, from 1899 to 1983. Wow. Joined the Royal Navy as a young officer when his family returned to England from Okanagan. Thank you. In preparation for World War I. Near the end of the war, about 20 of his group of officers were stricken with spinal meningitis.
Oh, no.
Really? He and another survived. Bless his
Yeah.
heart. I was told, as they needed the doctor's advice and took it their prescribed cod liver oil. God, I remember that cod liver oil. Yuck. Sometime during the time 1920s, he returned to Okanagan, and during World War II served in the Royal Canadian Navy.
The Okanagan Valley is in the south part of British Columbia, and there's a lot of like fruit trees, and it's quite a warm climate for there. Yeah.
Okay. Well, he was a strapping looking young man. Here's a post from somebody named Denise Jarrett.
Oh, let's see. What does she say?
Yes, I posted, but I wasn't able to add my dad's picture. And I've gotten the instructions now on how to add it to G2G. But my dad served in the United States Navy in 1942 and 1945, in World War II, and then served in the United States Air Force from 46 to 55 during the Korean War. So he didn't get enough. He went back for more. He didn't talk much about that time in service, but when I took typing in school, he would race me doing timed typing tests at home.
Really?
Yes, because he was a staff sergeant. I guess he did a lot of office work, and he was actually timed at 85 words a minute, which is pretty fast.
That's pretty fast.
Back in the day. Yeah. I think I did manage to add his picture to the
profile,
the space page.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we have these photos here in the space pages.
Oh.
And, yeah, so we've already seen some of these in the 12 months of photos.
Nice. Isn't that the one on top?
Yeah.
Above that?
Yeah. Yeah.
That one?
Yep.
There he is. Nice.
Wow. So handsome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Great.
So managed to do that.
Good
and
work.
I'll try to do what Greg showed me before the meeting.
Okay.
We don't have ancestors for July?
Actually, none that we haven't already talked about in July.
You know what? My two grandmothers celebrate their birthday on the same day.
Really?
Wow.
That's the 11 of July.
Nice.
Just a coincidence.
Right. Yeah. So two grandmothers. So were they both at the wedding of your parents then?
No, they were not present. None of them, actually.
Oh.
Yeah. At least I don't see them in the pictures. There are like two pictures of that wedding, and they are not in the picture. Maybe they were.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it for me.
Okay. Well, then I'll take over. And so that one of those profiles, you had the picture. It was the uncle of LPJE.
Yeah.
And Shirley, there he is.
Ta-da!
Louis Philip John Eckel.
Okay.
Great.
They did add him to the WikiTree. So
great.
There's LPJ. And his uncle is there too.
Awesome.
Born in 1862, Buffalo, passed away in 1944 in Grand Island, Erie. And there's a bunch of pictures here. There's the family tree. There's him, place where he lived, family. So that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
So it looks like the full Eckel family has been developed on WikiTree, which is very cool. So thanks for sharing that. And that was Mark Weinheimer, right?
Yes.
Yeah, there.
Yeah.
Who's the profile manager. Way to go, Mark. Good stuff.
Very good.
But our theme this week is, again, for more food and family connections. And so it's all about famous chefs and whatnot. So let's have a start with Anne here. So Anne Burrell just passed away recently at the end of last month. Born in 1969 in Cazenovia, which is in Madison County, New York, 1969, and passed away 17th of June, 2025, at the age of 55 in Brooklyn. Distant cousin, an American chef, television personality, and former instructor at the Institute of Culinary Education. She was the host of the Food Network shows Secrets of a Restaurant Chef and co-host of Worst Cooks in America. She was also one of the Iron Chefs, Mario Batali's sous chefs in the Iron Chef America series, and appeared on other programs on the network, such as The Best Thing I Ever Ate. Now, I have to admit, I don't know a lot of these chefs. I don't watch reality TV, so all these cooking shows references, most of them I don't know. Her face looks kind of familiar, so I've probably seen her in passing, but so I wasn't familiar with her work. But obviously she's done a lot and is famous in this neck of the woods and stuff. Yeah, so she was a native of Cazenovia. So when I first read that, Cazenovia and went to Cazenovia High School, I'm thinking, is that like, it sounds like a made-up country from a Marvel movie. But apparently it's an actual place in New York State. So that's interesting. That was interesting to me. Culinary Institute made the Dean's List, got her own show in 2007. Yeah. Passed away.
Just passed away.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like a overdose sort of thing. So that's very sad.
Yeah.
Moving on, we have James Andrew Beard, born in 1903 in Portland, Oregon, passed away in 85, the age 81, in New York City. So he was another American chef, cookbook author, teacher, and television personality. He pioneered television cooking shows and established his own cooking schools that emphasized fresh American ingredients. He wrote over 20 books during his career, and he was so revered as a chef that after his death, a foundation was created to celebrate the culinary talents of others in his memory with the prestigious annual The James Beard Award. So that's very nice.
Yeah.
So his origin story, his mother was passionate about food, ran a boarding house. His father worked at the Portland's Customs House. They spent summers at the beach. They fished, gathered shellfish and wild berries, and cooked meals with whatever was caught. He had malaria, got malaria at age 3 and was bedridden because of that. And the family had a Chinese cook who lived with them and helped prepare meals, and that piqued his interest. He went to college, but was expelled during his freshman year because he was having affairs with one or more male students and a professor.
Oh, wow.
So, yikes.
And a professor.
And a professor too. So booted out of there. Whoops. However, the college he did eventually get an honorary degree. So what, 50 years later, maybe in 76, he went on the road as a theatrical troupe. He really tried to get into theater, but just didn't do where he tried to break into theater and movies. He just did not have much success, but he did have success with a catering business. His first shop was called Hors d'oeuvre Inc. And then that was his key to success. And then he wrote a cookbook called Hors d'oeuvres and Canapés, and then followed that with Cook It Outdoors. That seems to me like two opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of food. And then he in the World War II, he did a brief stint in cryptography, so that's pretty cool. And then he ended up setting up sailors' canteens and got to travel Puerto Rico, Rio de Janeiro, Marseille in France, and Panama. So that's neat. Anyways, and then he came on, did cooking shows, wrote cookbooks. There we go. Moving on next, Mary Hunnings, Dame of the British Empire, born in the 1930s, still alive, Food writer, chef, baker, and television presenter. Daughter of Alan William Stewart Barry and Margaret Conway Wilson. Studied at the Le Cordon Bleu Culinary School in France. Wrote many cookbooks, including the Baking Bible in 2009. But best known as a judge on the Great British Bake Off from 2010 to 2016. So does that she look familiar to you? If you, don't watch the British Bake Off. So became a commander of the Order of the British Empire in 2012, and then a Dame commander in 2021. Then we have Ettore Boiardi, who was born in Borgonovo, Valtidone, Piacenza, Emilia-Romagna, Italia, in Italy. 1897, passed away in Parma City, Cuyahoga, in Ohio. And you may recognize his last name is really Boiardi, but you probably pronounced it Boiardi. Chef
yes.
Boiardi. But
I know him well.
yes, you know him well. Yes. So the correct pronunciation, the authentic Italian pronunciation, you put the stress on the middle syllable, Boiardi. Ettore is his first name in Italian, but anglicized, that would become Hector, of course. Born to Giuseppe Boiardi and Maria Marti in 1897. At age 16, they emigrated in 1914, when he was 16 years old, arrived at Ellis Island, followed his brother to the kitchen of the Plaza Hotel in New York City, and worked his way up to head chef. Supervised for reception of Woodrow Wilson's second wedding at Greenbrier in West Virginia. He had his entrepreneurial skill became polished and well known when he opened his first restaurant, Il Giardino d'Italia, or the Garden of Italy, in Cleveland, and people really loved his spaghetti sauce. So
yes,
took it home, and then that sort of it was that history from there on, right? And of course, he made sure that he sold his products and he used the name Chef Boiardi so they could pronounce his name properly, at least close to properly.
Yeah.
Boiardi. He worked in World War II, preparing millions of rations for people there. And then, famous, of course, worldwide. Julia Child, distant cousin, ninth cousin, 3 times removed, born 1912 in Pasadena, LA, and passed away at the age of 91 in 2004 in Montecito, California. So the cool thing is, in the Second World War, she was a spy.
I love spies.
What's that? You love spies?
Yeah.
I know.
We had spies the last LiveCast too.
Yes, we did. Yeah. So as well as being, of course, a chef, an author, and a television personality. So she's 6'2". She was a large woman, right? And apparently, you can be too tall to get into the army. I didn't know that. She was too tall to enlist in the Women's Army Corps or in the U.S. Navy's WAVES program. Well, I can see maybe being too tall to be in the Navy because maybe you wouldn't fit in the submarine, right? That's a pretty cramped. So maybe you need to be a short sailor to, fit. I don't know. I'm just guessing here. But the Army Corps, too tall for the Army? That's the first I'd heard of that. But
because they can see you from a distance.
Oh,
they can easily see you from a distance.
Maybe you don't want to have your head sticking above everyone else's. You'd be a target.
Exactly.
For target practice. Yeah, so maybe there's some practical reason for that. But she did enlist and worked for the Office of Strategic Services, which was basically the spy agency. So her first group, she worked with the group that developed shark repellent. How cool is that? Oh. So that they put that around the mines, in the ocean, so that the sharks would stop, trying to bang into and eat or, disturb the mines, because then they'd blow it up and that would defeat the purpose of having the mines there in the first place. So that they put the mines to stop the German U-boats, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of cool. So she worked on shark repellent. Hopefully she never used shark repellent in any of her recipes later on. But then she was posted to Sri Lanka and then eventually to China. And
Hey, is this true? Chris
that?
Ferraiolo says her accent was fake.
I don't know
Who
if
knows
that's
that?
true. It doesn't say that. So I
Is
mean,
it true?
she was born in Los Angeles. She lived in the States. I don't know. She did live in Paris. So, I mean, but I mean, her accent sounded more. Didn't it sound like it wasn't a British accent? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, to me it sounded more British. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't say anything about her fake accent in here in the file, so I don't have any documentation for that, Chris. She had a unique voice, so maybe that just came off. She met her husband actually also working in Ceylon, so he was also a spy. And in fact, he was posted. He continued working for the Foreign Service, and that's why they were in Paris. And that's where she studied the art of the French cooking there, and of course became a famous chef and cookbook author and television personality. But back to being a spy, one of the things is her papers are actually available online in where did I had it open here? Is this it? Yeah, her files. Her files are online, and so did you know the salary for a spy in 1945 was $2,980.
Wow, that's a lot for that time, right?
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. So pretty cool,
maybe,
eh?
Maybe that's why she had to fake her accent or something.
Fake her accent. That's right. That's right.
She was used to fake.
That's right. Well, Ceylon was a British dependency at one point, so they would have all had British accents working there. So yeah, maybe, and it just stuck, and she couldn't get it out of her system. Anyway, so here's her file from the National Archives and Records Administration. Okay, so if you go on their website and just search for Julia McWilliams, because that was her maiden name, you can find it, which was kind of interesting. Thought that was neat. Next, we have Margaret Isabel Fulton, who is an influential Australian food writer, journalist, and presenter. She was the cookery editor of the Women's Day and known for the best-selling book, The Margaret Fulton Cookbook, published in 1968. And this profile is done by our friend Melanie from Australia.
Yay!
Oh. She's born in Nairn, Scotland. Her father was a master tailor, and they emigrated from Glasgow when she was only 2 years old. She married an ex-soldier, Trevor Wilford Price. They had one child, daughter together. Unfortunately, that broke down. And then she did marry a second time to an actor, Dennis Terrence Joseph Doonan. And then, unfortunately, she was into, like, from about 1980 until his death from lung cancer, she was in a relationship with another actor, Michael McKeague. And there's some neat images of the books that she's done. Yeah, Chinese Fried Rice. One of the things is her popularity. She was credited with changing how Aussies' tables went from offering the traditional staple of just meat and 3 vegetables, which is kind of the farm. That was like my meal on the farm growing up. Meat and potatoes and then something green, right? To being a little more eclectic, including dishes from places such as China, Spain, India, and Italy. So nice to branch out. Recipes for such exotic foods, multi-page layouts in different magazines and cookbooks. So neat. Nice picture of her there in 2012. Very cool. James Hemmings, born in 1765 in Guinea, in the Cumberland.
This is my closest.
This is your closest, is it?
Yes.
Mine too. I'm 10 degrees.
Oh, wow. That's really close. My closest was 13.
19 for me.
Wow. That's wow. Okay. He's part of the U.S. Black history. James Hemings, born in 1765 in Guinea, colony of Virginia. He was the son of Thomas Jefferson's father-in-law, John Wales, and Elizabeth Hemings. James never married nor had children. So he was enslaved, became the property of Thomas Jefferson in 1774, and worked as eventual messenger driver and eventually as a chef. He was freed in 1796 after training his brother to replace him for 3 years. And then he became the first American to train as a chef in France. So he left America, went to France, became trained as a chef there. Interesting. He is sometimes credited with introducing macaroni and cheese.
Wow.
One of my favorites.
That is cool. I do like a good macaroni and cheese. Some people said that his macaroni pie, Monticello, was more reserved about the association. Anyways, he was freed in 1796. Sadly, he committed suicide after a bout of heavy drinking, where he was working as a cook in a tavern. That's very sad. Then we have Fanny Farmer, who was born in 1857, Bolton, Massachusetts. Passed away in 1915 at age 57. Another American culinary expert whose Boston Cooking School cookbook became a widely used culinary text. And today it's known simply as the Fanny Farmer Cookbook. She's the oldest of 4 daughters. They highly valued education and expected her to go on to college, but she became paralyzed. She had a paralytic stroke at the young age of 16. So she couldn't continue on with her education. In fact, she was unable to walk for several years. Eventually, she was able to walk again by age 30 with a substantial limp that she never left. And that's when she was able to enroll in the cooking school. And she was considered one of the top students and kept on as assistant to the director and then become the principal of the school in 1891. Even though she had a wheelchair for the last 7 years of her life, she continued to lecture, to write, and to invent recipes. Gave her last lecture just 10 days before she died. And they had an interesting note here. Her name was recorded as Fanny at her birth. So that's not just a nickname. That was her official name. George Wallace Ferguson McCain. So here we have some Canadian content because he was born in New Brunswick in 1930, passed away at the age of 81 in 2011 in Toronto. Distant cousin, but well known. He was the co-founder of McCain Foods, which is one of the largest frozen food companies, along with his brother Harrison. And so he was born in New Brunswick, in Florenceville, Carleton Township, New Brunswick. And McCain is one of those large families. Like there's lots of things that the McCain's family owns and operates. The biography is basically just stuff from the census and whatnot. He married someone with the last name Norrie in 1955 in Truro. Mentioned in an obituary. So not a lot of the details there, but McCain's, of course, well, I don't know if you have McCain's Foods in the States or down in Chile, but there's lots of things that they've done, but they have lots. Their 2 most popular things are fries, McCain's fries, and deep and delicious frozen cakes. So.
But it's familiar. The name is familiar. We don't have that.
Yeah. So McCain's, like it comes in a package like that, frozen, deep and delicious frozen cake. When my sister-in-law visits from Italy, we always have to have one meal. We have to at least have McCain's cake for dessert because you don't get that in Italy apparently. And then there's fries of various sorts, so that McCain's are famous for. Anyways,
I'll have to look for those.
What's that?
I'll have to look for those.
Yeah, that's right.
The desserts anyway.
Yes, the desserts are tasty. And then we have Morris James McDonald. I think, is he the one? Nope, he's not the one. The one who was my closest. Let me see where it was. Yeah, it is him. He is my closest. So I'm only 13 degrees from him. Wait a second. Oh yeah, there's 13 degrees. Yeah. So I'm only 13 degrees from him. But if you look at that, it's through his wife. Then his wife and I are actually directly related. We are fifth cousins, once removed.
Wow.
Awesome.
So I'm fifth cousins, once removed from Mac McDonald's. And McDonald is the McDonald, as in McDonald's, the restaurant, Ronald McDonald.
And he had a farm,
and
right?
He had a farm as well. Horace McDonald and his younger brother, Richard McDonald, were American entrepreneurs. 1940, they founded the original McDonald's restaurant, which actually was in California, San Bernardino, California.
That we do have in Chile.
You do have that in Chile. Yeah, that I'd be surprised if you didn't, because that's everywhere. They are known for having created the speedy service system to produce their meals, a method that would eventually become the standard for the fast food industry. So, and if you're wondering, what is the speedy food system? Here is the speedy food system. So, at the time, most of the drive-in restaurants were ones where you drive in, and then the servers would come out, sometimes on roller skates, take your order, and you go back in and bring it to you. So they made it more efficient because they said, well, we'll just have a window. We'll have people come in, and basically serve them. You come to the window, you order, and then you take it out. So that person, that go-between, they eliminated that. So that eliminated some cost for wages because that person didn't have a job anymore. And then they shrunk the menu to just the top 9 items, which were the most profitable, easiest, and quickest to make. So that was a limited menu, the self-service counter, and then made the assembly line, basically idea in the kitchen. And that was groundbreaking at the time. And then they got into franchising. They sold their idea to someone else. And then eventually, so Ray Kroc, who eventually took over and bought the company from them and ran it, was originally just one of us. He was one of the salespersons who, was selling some of, I can't remember what the product was he was selling, but interesting. So
some of the franchises, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think that was it. Yeah. Something for the franchise. Yeah. Anyways, McDonald's, very cool.
Yeah. Now they got their own drinks.
And now they got yeah, that's right.
The McCaws. Yeah. The McCaws, those are supposed to be specialty drinks other than just regular Pepsi and Coke. And these are specialty drinks now.
Interesting. Paul Eugene Prudhomme, born on 13th of July, 1940, in Opelousas, St. Landry Parish in Louisiana. Died at 8th of August, 2015 at the age of 75. Another 7th cousin, twice removed, through one of my French-Canadian connections. He was a celebrity chef, restaurateur, most responsible for bringing Cajun cuisine to the world's table. These last 2 people are both Cajun in that regard. Born in Louisiana, married Kay Hinrich, started the Kay Paul's Louisiana Kitchen. Kay was his wife, and Paul, of course, is his name, and died at the age of 65, 2015. And then the last one is also known as the Cajun chef. That is Justin Elmer Wilson, born in Roseland, Louisiana again. Passed away at the age of 87 in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, 2001. Affectionately known as the Cajun chef, culinary icon, his vibrant personality and authentic Cajun cuisine left an indelible mark on the culinary world. So, he was born in Louisiana, firmly, deeply rooted in Cajun culture and traditions, grew up by the smell and taste of that, and went on. 6th of 7 children, did some military service, and he was found unfit to go overseas, and so he served stateside, which he didn't understand, having just completed his ranger training. So I don't know why he was. Yeah. So first, one of his jobs was as a safety engineer. He says, way back when I first started as a safety engineer, I took myself pretty seriously, and I found I was putting my audiences to sleep.
Oh.
So having lived all my life among the Cajuns of Louisiana and having a good memory for the patois and the type of humor Cajuns go for, I started interspersing my talks on safety with Cajun humor. I'm sure that kept more people awake. And then he started with a catering business, and then it took off his career. One of his most iconic catchphrases, "I guarantee," and how y'all are. That's another one. Now, I wasn't familiar with him, but I did a quick search on YouTube, and I found this introduction and "What is a Cajun," which is narrated by him. And there's a whole list. There's a whole playlist of his stories. So if you just do a search for Justin Williams Cajun stories on YouTube, I just listened to the first bit of it, and he does sound like quite a character. And within 3 minutes, he does start off with what is it? How y'all are. That's the very first thing he says. And then within a minute, he says, "I guarantee." So that's kind of neat. So there you go. There's the profiles of the week. Very interesting.
Wow, it was fun.
Yeah.
No Kentucky Fried Chicken, people. What
I
happened?
know. I was like, "Where's the Colonel?" But we've had the Colonel on. I think we've had him on twice already. So
Oh, really?
we're giving him a break.
Okay.
He's retired from active duty now.
Okay.
And in Canada, there was a cooking show that my mom used to watch when we were growing up called The Galloping Gourmet.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. I think we may have covered his profile once before as well. But anyways, there's so many to choose from, but we can't get through them all.
Yeah,
that's all right. We got Chef Boyardee. We don't need anybody else.
That's right. There we go. Good stuff. So, so what's happening in WikiTree this week? Well, let's see. If we go to, one thing I do want to point out, our good friend of the show and WikiTree extraordinaire, Mags Golden, has written a blog post that's on the Family Tree DNA website, but it's all about WikiTree and its DNA features. So I would recommend, I think that there is a G2G post that links this, but you could just go to the Family Tree DNA blog, and it'll be the first one there because it's the most recent one. It just came out this week. And it's because, WikiTree and the Family Tree DNA, they've developed that partnership where you can put in your WikiTree ID and connect them. And this is sort of the next the next blog post. Sort of what's nice about this is it introduces people who are on Family Tree DNA who may not have WikiTree connections or haven't investigated WikiTree before. And so hopefully this will get some more traffic there, and people will be interested in that. But it's a really nice summary of all the different things, the DNA features that WikiTree has. So even for WikiTree members, it's a really nice read through, and links all over the place. So there's something, well, I do remember that, or I want to investigate that. There's links so you can quickly go to lots of different things. So really well written blog. Nicely done. Congratulations.
Perfect. Yay, congrats. I left the link in the chat.
Oh, excellent. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for doing that. So coming up, let's check out the social media blog post that Azure and Lisa put together each week. So for this week, let's see, do we have? Wait a second. Is that this week that just passed, or the week?
The week that, yeah.
Meet our members, yeah. Oh, so maybe we don't have maybe I need to update it. Oh.
There it is.
Is it there? There it is. It is. I just needed to update. Woohoo! So tomorrow, there's a Q&A for new members with Betsy Murray, Steve, and Hillary. And that takes place at 10 Sunday morning, Eastern time, I think. Hopefully.
I'm not sure.
I
Murray's
think it's
in the
11
chat.
Eastern.
Or is it 11? Oh, okay. Well, you know what? If I clicked on that, what it would say.
Or you can just click on the YouTube.
11. Yeah, 11 a.m. You're right.
Mm.
I am wrong. Okay, 11 a.m. Good. And then there's a question of the week that's coming up. There will be a Tech Talk this Monday at 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. Eastern Time is our monthly Tech Talk. And Rob Pavey is the host this month.
Oh, great.
So he'll be talking about the latest things he's added to the Sorcerer extension. Murray will be giving an update on the WikiTree browser extension. And,
Awesome.
and then the rest of us will be hanging around and making comments and answering any questions that people have. So if you have questions for us, there is a GDG post that you can put those in so that we can be prepared to answer any questions. So it's an open Zoom meeting, so any questions are welcome. The one name study this week is man with 2 N's. There'll be connection checkers. I think at the bottom of this post from this week for the food and family connections, it did say, it gave us a PS, help us prepare for next week's US South features. So maybe connections will be to the US South. So that's kind of cool. Sneak preview there. We'll see what happens. Sometimes they have a theme and then something happens in the news and we flip it around, to make it a little more current, but we'll see. The one place study, Kennet in Clackmannshire in Scotland. And then, of course, the Scotland project is highlighted on Thursday. There will be a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame link on Friday. Meet our members, and we'll be back here. Vicky won't be back here.
No. Oh.
World traveling, and delivering workshops to new WikiTree members. So that's very cool.
We hope.
Let's hope. Yes. I'm sure after your workshop, everyone's going to want to join WikiTree. Who's in
of course.
And why wouldn't they?
I'll keep track of that.
Okay, that'd be great.
I'll make sure.
So I think that's all. There's lots more that's happening. You can go to the GGG post and you can see so many things. And upcoming is our WikiTree challenge for August. Will be Elizabeth and Neil. Sign up for that. And that's about all I have to say about that.
Thank you.
Awesome.
There are some nice comments. Thank you.
That's nice.
And thank you for your wishes. Oh, thank you. Oh, no, it won't, but I'll share you the pictures after.
Excellent.
We'll take some photographs.
That's great. Well, have a great day, everyone. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Safe travels. We'll see you when you come back.
Thank you.
Good to see you again. Take care, everyone.
I'll miss you.
Yeah. Have fun, Vicky.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.